right, all right. Hello and welcome, everyone. It's a beautiful day out. You can see the sun shining behind me. My name is DJ Fix. I'm with Magic 102.3 and 92.7, Real Sound of the DMV. I have with me some great guests for you to lead this discussion, and we'll be having a great time understanding some things. We'll get into that in just a second, but I'll introduce my colleagues here. Mike Rollins is the owner of GameDay Men's Health. He'll be joining me and assisting me with this discussion. And our esteemed guests that we have today, we have Mary Patel, as well as Dr. Marfori. We are going to be getting into a specific topic about testosterone health today and what that is and what that means. And like I said, we have our experts here to. But at this moment, I'm going to pass the mic to Michael Rollins and let him get into further details and introduce himself and what men's health is. So, Michael, it's on you.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. So excited. Thank you to the entire Radio One family for having us today. We're definitely excited about it. And, you know, we're excited, too, to bring you a new concept that's been kind of sweeping across the U.S. In, GameDay Men's Health. I mean, it's been, we have right now, I think, over 300 franchises. But what we're going to talk about today is, we're here in Southern Maryland, which is GameDay Men's Health Waldorf. And I want to kind of give you guys an overview of who we are, right? And what we're doing in the men's health space and wellness. I think this is very exciting. So first and foremost is that the concept, there is four core services we offer, right? From a GameDay Men's Health. It's first is testosterone health. We do focus on that particular area. That's number one. And then we also do medical weight loss, and we do erectile dysfunction, and then we do vitamin wellness. Those are our four core services. We believe in the men being able to come into our service, get personalized care. This is the whole tenet of what we do here. We know that men do not like to go to the doctors. I grew up in a household. I saw it in terms of, just in general for men. I had great parents that always told me, what to do. But when you start getting outside the box, you start seeing that, the hospital, that was the place where, that was the first place where men end up before, and you start to understand that as you get older, there's things that you can do that's preventive, what we call preventive care, right? So this is the concept here in terms of men can be able to come in and be in a comfortable environment. We have, a man cave type environment, things that appeal to men. So outside of just the normal primary care that we see today, right? So also, one last thing I do want to say on this for right now is one thing is personal for me. I've, as we age, for myself, I saw it, in lower energy levels. And sometimes you're thinking, you'll push through as a man, right? So you'll push through and you realize that over time that there's other men facing the same situation. And that was the impetus of being able to put a GameDay Men's Health into our community so we can make it be effective for change and bring the discussion forward for men's health, not just the men's health, but also wellness. There's a lot of discussion about wellness, mental health, things like that. So right now we're seeing that discussion kind of blossom, and we're going alongside of it right now to address these critical areas for men. So I'll stop there for now, but I'm definitely excited, what we're going to talk about today. Today, I guess we're going to focus on our main core services, testosterone health. And so, DJ Face, that's what we're going to do today.
Perfect. Excuse me. I appreciate that, Michael. And excuse me if I can get my voice together here. Dr. Marfori, I'm going to throw the first question to you and just help us get right into this. And with the basics, starting at what is testosterone?
Well, to really look at that question, you really have to look at the overall point of healthcare and how people access healthcare. I'll answer your question, and I'll loop back so we can figure out where it fits in the greater picture. Because otherwise, it's just information that you don't know what to do with. If you ask the question, what is testosterone? Testosterone is male sex hormone. It's produced in the testes and allows you to develop as a man. Okay, the equivalent for women would be estrogen, and realize that the hormone levels in the body, bioactive peptides, are produced and affect multiple systems. They interact with your brain, they interact with your muscles, they interact with your bones and your blood vessels. And so, if your hormone levels are out of whack, that's a problem. Now, specifically, when you think about testosterone, you think about how the fact that when you're younger and you're 18, and you just can work out, you can play, you can do all sorts of things, and you can lift weights, and you can be strong, and you sleep well, and you have all this energy. But as you get older, these levels naturally drop down. And so, there's a lot of variation for each person, and each level it's not just a cookie cutter, you follow a graph and then you know exactly where you're at. Everyone's going to drop a different level, and the different levels are going to affect people differently. So testosterone is absolutely essential for when we're younger and when we want to stay feeling younger. And so once you start getting older, let's say maybe a third to a half, once you start getting roughly about a 1% drop a year, once you start getting in the 40s and 50s and that type of thing, you're dropping a significant amount, and that can affect a lot of different things. Now, when we talk about this, I wanted to go back to what Michael was saying. This is GameDay Men's Health. It's not a focused testosterone service. It is one of the many services we offer. Traditionally, when people think of healthcare and they think of wellness and they think of health, they think, okay, I have a primary doctor, I have a hospital with an ER in case I get, injured or something like that. I have a surgeon in case I need surgery. But we think about being reactive to a problem. If you're sick, you go to someplace. But when you think about wellness and you think about men's health, we think about it in the totality. How can we help you get preventative, proactive care? So when you start having these symptoms, you can actually get ahead of the curve before it becomes a major problem.
Okay, I appreciate that. And before I move on to our next question, you said something in there that just kind of made me think. So, as a naturally developing man, we continue in our lives, and we know that when we were younger we could do this, and now that we're older, maybe we've slowed down. But is there a sign, or is there a tipping point that says, hey, maybe this is something else that I need to get checked out, rather than I'm just getting old?
It's a really good question. The answer is it depends. This is why this is a medical practice, and we focus in on men's health. If you just if you Google testosterone or any of those type of things, you're going to find that there's a different answer from every online source you can find. What you need to do, it's a personalized care. You have to determine what is your levels, are you symptomatic, and when are you going to start to feel those side effects of having lower testosterone, and figure out who would benefit. And you got to make a choice. Getting older is not for the weak, right? We all get older, and you can't take life too seriously, because you'll never make it out of life alive. So we're going to have to just get used to getting older and having a little less strength and having not as good sleep, and all the side effects of just getting older. But the question is really, do we have to do that? Do we have to accept that? Or can we do something about it to actually start getting ahead of it and feel better right from the get-go?
So is that why you would say then, I mean, these points that you just made, that this is the importance for testing for testosterone?
Absolutely. So you have to know, like, you can't fix anything until you measure something. right? So if you don't bother to measure it, then you don't know, right? This is a medical therapy. So you can't just go to your gym, although some people do, and go to some guy who's a workout guy who looks huge and swole and say, I want some tea. He'll sell you some street tea, or you can get something off the internet or off of Amazon. But are you hurting yourself? Are you helping yourself? You don't know because you're not measuring. You're not measuring your levels. You're not measuring and determining what those medications are. What are the side effects? What do you need to feel better? So you have to know where you're at. What are your symptoms? You need to have a clinical evaluation and have therapies guided to what you believe is going on now, and then have a clinical evaluation to figure out what are the best treatments and options way forward. This is not mandatory. This is not covered by insurances. This is something that the insurances don't really talk about and want to acknowledge is something that is important. They're looking at keeping you alive from when you have your heart attack, which is important. But we're talking about optimizing your daily life.
So, okay. Then I guess my next question is, having said what you said, I'm moving through my life. I'm getting older. Maybe I'm slowing down. I don't really feel like I want to do any extra testing besides the bare minimum of my regular checkups with my doctor. Tell everyone why it's important to get tested for testosterone.
Can I interject and add to that?
Absolutely.
So in regards to testosterone, it's directly responsible for maintaining energy and strength, muscle mass and bone and density, mental focus and clarity, sex drive and performance, mood and attitude, and sleep quality. So like Dr. Marfori was talking about, we're talking about like in regards to symptoms. So symptoms are subjective. So when men come into our clinic, they're saying like, oh, they can have some, one, or all of symptoms of low T, like feelings of depression, lowered energy levels, poor sleep quality, sexual dysfunction, cardiovascular disease, loss of muscle mass, lack of mental clarity and focus, and then drop in strength and endurance and mood swings and fogginess and indecision. So when they come in there, then it's like, okay, this is a perfect time so we can test them and see where their levels are. And then we can directly link it to their symptoms and then where their testosterone levels are.
Perfect. Thank you, Mary. I should have given you the formal introduction.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's fine. We're all here to like incorporate information. So
sure. So I'll continue with you then. At what age does a man typically see a decline in testosterone levels?
So typically, a male is at their peak between 20 and 30s. So that's like their prime time. But then as they age, it slowly declines, and everyone's different. So that's why they get checked out.
Cool.
For
20
the
to 30. So I'm a long shot away from that.
Yes.
So tell everyone, what are the benefits of like optimized testosterone levels, and specifically what is TRT? Because I read that and I wanted you to discuss that as well.
Testosterone replacement therapy. That's
Okay.
what TRT is all about.
Okay.
And in regards to just optimizing a person's levels into testosterone, it can take time again, but once you're optimized, there's a lot of benefits, and a lot of benefits. The first time, a lot of men would say that their first benefit is the sleep quality.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep quality is the first thing, and then they say that they have like more energy levels and better recovery with workouts. So
yeah, and I think at least for me, the myth that I understand when you hear testosterone, I think naturally that I guess I won't speak for everyone. Like I said, for myself, I think muscular things, I think gym activities, I think sexual activities, but
definitely sexual activities. The libido gets higher, and then they definitely get like more erections.
And you mentioned though the one important thing that I think a lot of people overlook and may not as value as much, or see that they really need sleep. So this increase in quality sleep is what you're telling me that this can also aid with?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Then I guess my last question for you is, what does GameDay Men's Health, and Michael, feel free to chime in, specifically Waldorf, offer for TRT?
Okay. Mary, I was going to have you go with that, but
Oh,
okay. And then I was going to come right behind you with the last comment. Okay.
go ahead. No, answer it, please. And then I will incorporate.
Okay. So, all right. No worries. All right. So, what do we offer, right? Game Day Men's Health Waldorf. First and foremost, I think Dr. Marfori alluded to it, personalized care. You're going to come to a staff that's, we are a medical clinic. You have comfort in that you're dealing in a medical environment. And one thing about dealing from a man perspective, uh, these issues, I shouldn't say issues, but things that occur for men, they have to feel comfortable in being able to talk about it. A lot of times you can't even, you go places, a lot of times many, if they're going to talk about, hey, I have low energy or I'm experiencing poor sleep quality, you know, those things are, it can be looked upon from a masculine perspective, not, we still live in that type of society where it's you still have to keep your face on in terms of your masculinity, all of that type of thing. And I think here is that we take the veil off a word phrase I can think of and be able to talk about it, and they feel comfortable in those discussions, right? So, and it's one-on-one, it's personalized, and Mary mentioned it too as well, is that it's very for each individual. So that's why you want to come into a Game Day Men's Health Waldorf. You're going to get personalized care. I already mentioned you're going to come to a medical clinic, but also we are here for you. It's each individual. The biggest thing you want to do is two things. One, you're going to be better. We're seeking to see men being better. You can perform better. You have mental clarity. That's the other thing that helps with testosterone is mental clarity. If you suffer from brain fog, if you have more energy, you can do more. You can play with your kids longer. You can complete maybe a project that you're working on in your house. There's things that you still want to do. You want to maximize life, and that's what we're about. We're about being able for a man to come out and say, I am better. I am optimized. I am better at everything from work, school, life, and all facets of it. This is where we are. Each man that comes in, this is our goal. This is what we're passionate about.
Perfect. And you said something that made me think as well. I mean, all of these things are physical related that we've been describing, energy levels, performance, all kinds of things. But the connection that you just made with how this transfers into life activities also, leads me to mental health. Like if you're feeling certain ways about things that are coming from this, testosterone health, then fixing testosterone health could also improve mental health. So I like that this is a life kind of changing thing that you all are providing, or service, I should say, that you all are providing, a medical service, I should repeat.
And DJ, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
One last thing I do want to say is that if you go back years ago when I think back for myself, right? You mentioned something about testosterone in terms of, you think about gym, you think about it, the guy who lifts weights, and that was solely the only education I had growing up about testosterone. And this is why this format is very important, what we're doing today, because one of the things we do, and Dr. Marfori does it well, and then Mary does it every time a potential patient or patient comes in, is educate. This is what this format should be. Anyone that's watching this, you should be able to get educated in whatever form you need to, because I had the education that it was only for guys who work out at the gym. And then when you start learning about, how it works for testosterone, and just like anything in life, you start seeing the this is why this message needs to get out. This is why it's important for us to have these discussions in our community, because we can get guys to, there is a better way. You don't have to suffer in silence. You know how men are. We'll suffer in silence and push through. We'll hear that term all the time. I'm gonna push through. Pushing to what? After a while, you can't push anymore. Then what? So you got to deal with this, and we are here for you. And that's why we want to educate today.
Perfect. Before I wrap things up, Mary, I'll throw this to you. If there's anyone that's watching this at this moment, what's the best way for them to reach out and to get services, or even just some questions answered, or a consultation, or anything of that matter?
Definitely, we are GameDay Waldorf, and the number is there below. You can just call us and make an appointment any day.
Yeah. And then let me say this for the appointments. So what we try to do, and what we are doing, I should say, we make it very streamlined. So, for example, someone can call that number that's scrolling 240-255-2858, and you can call it, you can text it, and then we have a person that will answer from our center. They will take care of all the intake. The only thing, we'll ask some general questions, just some general health. I won't say health questions in terms of from an intake perspective, but then we do everything, like our intake forms are sent through. We send it through text or online, I should say. Guys can fill out the online link, and then it's 10 to 15 minutes. It's general medical history questions, and then once they fill that out, then the appointment can be scheduled, right? So there's you call us, we'll get in touch with you through text. You can offer call or text, and if they choose either one, the next thing is confirming general information like birthday or when is your birth date, and then what time is your appointment, and then it goes directly to an intake form, which should take 10 to 15 minutes, and then you're scheduled to come in based on what's open.
Perfect. Thank you all. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mary, Dr. Marfori. I hope everybody that is listening and watching this understands the importance of testosterone health in men specifically. I learned some things. I hope you all did as well, and enough to actually make me, once we log off here, I might follow up. You might see my name pop up on one of those intakes.
We're looking forward to seeing you.
Perfect.
And it's only an hour of your time. You spent more time on I-95 stuck on traffic or BW Parkway. So you didn't get anything out of that, but you can get something out of the hour you give us.
Absolutely. So if there's anything else you all want to contribute, please feel free. But I'd like to say thank you for having me host this virtual event today. And I want to thank my guests, Mary Patel, Dr. Marfori, and Michael Rollins. Again, check in with GameDay Men's Health Waldorf. The number scrolling down below. Make your appointment after me.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.